Hello, everyone. Thanks again for coming and joining us. This is really great. What we're wanting to talk about is how can we work with you and share some of the experience and insights from a lot of our other successful partners, and how can we work together for you to become a successful partner in your region. Let me share my screen now. So let me know if you're not seeing the screen. So our reseller, a lot of our reseller, some of them, they say they are suffering from not having enough leads. And let me just, yeah. So the purpose of this webinar is because a lot of our resellers, they say they are suffering from not having enough leads, despite the market is really booming. People counting market is really booming, as you probably know. This is in the $1 billion market. It's more and more corporation is needing the people counter now, and more industry as well. So it's not limited to the industry that we always know, like the shopping mall and the retailers, but is expanding into museums, tourist attraction, public venues, city councils, offices, even warehouses, factories, is expanding into a lot more industry. So the market is getting bigger and bigger, and is really booming. And we usually are being selected as a top 3. Now that we have lost our biggest competitor like Breakstream and Irises, we are even more so. We are right at the top of the what the customers want to select. But customers do need to buy locally. Given the choice, they will want to buy from someone who has a local presence, which is you, our partners, our local partners there. They will buy from you instead of buying from a foreign company. So although we are the leading one, we're not necessarily the only one, but although we're always at the top 3. So we do need local presence. We do need your presence there in the market, but the demand is not being served. The huge demand, the growing demand, is now not being served, mainly because a lot of our partners are not actually entering the race. They're not focused on the demand itself and the customer's requirement. So what we are wanting to say here is the 80-20 rule. 20% of our partners are doing 80% of the sales. So what we're wanting to help is the rest of the 80% of our partners to actually see what you could actually do to actually go and grab those leads as well. Typically, our successful partners, they are small companies with 3 people or fewer in their team. So you don't have to necessarily have a big team. It's about doing whether you're doing the things right, but more importantly is doing the right things. So this is the key attributes: is the passion, dedication, and focus. And what you want to show to the potential customer is this. So you want to be able to have a way to showcase it to them, that you have this, and to get them to come to you and to buy from you. So there are some good sales books here that we base on, because now the modern day corporate buying, they shift already. They shift from the olden days, where olden days is more about small ticket relationship based buying. So they know you, they're going to buy something from you. It being a small ticket, they have the budget, they find the budget, and so forth. But now, especially with the high technology or technology based system, like the people counting system, the criteria is different. They're looking for a whole complete product with a whole solution with a lot of all those value added services. So take, for example, the key criteria of becoming a McDonald's franchisee is that you cannot have a side business. They want dedication and focus, or at least you're showing to the customer that you are focused and dedicated on just the one solution there. They're making good money by following the defined business template, and you don't have to be a good chef nor a great salesperson. So we have found this is the case with our FootfallCam successful partners. So we'll share this on there. So some challenges that we have gathered from our partners. So we have been asking, you know, what do you think about that? You know, what are your challenges? So we've gathered some of the challenges here, and I will go through them one by one. So the first one, some partners have come to us and say, my customer is very demanding and they want it really quickly. But what we're finding is B2B system, which is this people counting system, it is about selling the strategic value. It's not about, you know, order fulfillment in such a short notice period, or, you know, being they're being very demanding. People counting system is an enterprise business application. It involves a very elaborate decisions, and usually most of the time the C-level executives are involved. And the customers are not demanding, but they will only buy when they see the benefits to their business. So they need to see the strategic values, what the people counting system is going to bring. They're not just going to buy hardware and having a raw data. So they need to see what are these data going to bring to the business. What is it going to improve on the business? Are they going to improve the operational efficiency? Are they going to improve their sales revenue? All these things, they're needing to see that business value. So we're not here to sell, but we're here to help the customer buy. So it's about doing the right things, not about doing the things right. So it's unlike the EAS security system or the CCTV. The buying group now is not just a security manager. The buying group is actually probably involve a lot of other stakeholders in the company, including the C-level executives, including the IT team, including the privacy security team. So it includes obviously the operational, the sales team and all that. So, and the buying cycle is at least 3 months. So it is about trust and professionalism, and not about fast execution or friendship. So you are here to help the customer buy. What they're looking for, the 3 key values that they're looking for in the system lies in the maintainability. So can it work reliably for the next 15 years? And about the metrics, what metrics can we provide to them? It's not just the footfall, the demographic, outside traffic, about all the other additional metrics on there as well. And it's also about the actionable intelligence. So using the AI to identify patterns, to give them a prediction what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, and to give them recommendation, AI recommendation based on the behavior of their customer traffic flow. So all this is what they're now looking for. So it is not a commodity. So we're not selling a commodity, or you're not selling a commodity. Are you able to highlight the business values to them? So if you're able to highlight the business values to them, then you're helping them to buy from you. Yeah. So the next topic is about some will say, I don't have sufficient sales leads on hand. So that's all about the website. So when you have a web presence, you will have new leads. So website equals new leads, as simple as that. Very simple. And FootfallCam is the top. Is the top 3 vendors. So enterprise buyers, they usually use Google to do their research. So they don't need to know anyone. They're not going to buy from someone they know. They're going to do the research online. They will go online and look for people counter. So when they type in on Google for people counter, then you better appear on the first page of the Google search. So you need to get your SEO right. And then when they then found you on the Google search, they will go onto your website to look at it. So and FootfallCam will always be shortlisted in every bid in your country as well. So your website should appear professional. And what you wanted to show them is your dedication and professionalism. And you also want to show them your experience, your showcase ability, and also willingness to handle all kind of project size, big and small as well. And also to showcase you have the ongoing support, that you're going to support the system for years to come. They're now not, they don't just buy a hardware and then they get the IT team to maintain it. Now the data is going to go into the DNA of their business process. So they need that data. The data now is not a good to have, is not something, oh, I want to get a business insight. Now the data actually gets into their operation. So they need that data every day, all the time, and very accurately. This, they know, needs to be maintained, and you need to have a proper support process in place to maintain that. So, so we need to showcase that on there. I want to show you some example of some of our suppliers. So let me exit this. In here, for example, this is one of our partner in Australia. So as you can see, what they are wanting here to sell is that they are selling to the different industry. They have, you know, the kind of solution, the product package on there for them, and they're showcasing what they do. I'm going to hide this. And another one here is in Germany. It's in the local language. As we say, you know, customers like to buy it from locally. So you want to put it in your local languages. And they're also selling, you know, some case studies, our case studies, and they're selling their the services that they're providing in here as well. So that, you know, all the packages, all the you know, the happy customer, and you know, like all the services that they are providing. So these are some of the example of what a good website should be, because what the customer is looking now, so we don't want to be a, so this is just an example. So it's not about a hot dog stand selling a lot of variant, having a lot of different kind of things on your menu. The customers is now looking for more professional service, not necessarily more expensive. On there is still equivalent, is a reasonable, but they're looking for a family restaurants. So when they go in, they want to have a professional setting, but yet they want to have something that can they might want to customize a little bit. They want ketchup and not mustard and things like this. They want pickles. What they are also looking for is a table to sit, a clean table to sit on, the use of a bathroom. So these are all those after sales service that they are that they're looking for as well. They want to be able to see that you are also providing that you're actually a family restaurant, but a reasonable family restaurant, and not just a hot dog stand. So the next topic is, you might say the price is too high for my market. But FootfallCam now is at least 20 to 60% market share. We're getting that market share. Some countries we are getting a higher market share. Some we are still wanting to capture that, but it will be at least, you know, between 20 to 60% of the market share. Now, and regardless of GDP, all countries would buy Mercedes or Toyota, Mercedes being more the luxury side, but Toyota being the one that is a very common standard, good quality, but one that capture the majority of the market. So if you compare to a beam counter, yes, of course, the price is much higher now with the 3D counter, but most customers now are looking for 3D people counters. Then our price is very competitive. We have this market share, the 20 to 60%. So as long as you're focusing on providing the good services, you should expect 25 to 150 projects per year on there. And if you get your website right, as we mentioned on the previous page, you should expect 100 to 300 leads every year from your website. So you're not needing to create a market, but you're merely now fulfilling it. The demand is there already. Throughout many of the years, we have already tried to plow the market. We have created the market. The market is now huge, and is now the people counting system has has now become a must-have business system, no longer a nice-to-have, no longer nice to have some data, but now become a must-have for many of the businesses, and there are pending demands for it. And most of the time, the customers are actually struggling to find a suitable candidate to install the system for them. So, and people counting system is often is a big ticket sale, and the customer would consider a few factors such as long-term maintenance and the function extensibility. They want to see the future roadmap. The total market penetration for people counting system now is still low and underserved. So you should aim for 2,000 devices a year rather than focusing on just a few accounts. And when you position we obviously position ourselves to be either the Mercedes of Toyota in your country. With this approach, you will emphasize the economic benefits of scale on there, and aim to expand the reach and impact of people counting solutions across a broad spectrum of businesses. So if you focus on there, then you'll be able to capture that market. In the next webinar, we're going to talk about the top 5 people counting systems. So we will share that timetable shortly, and we encourage you to join there. So in that one, we'll talk a bit more in depth. What are the top 5 and what are the customers looking for now? And why are these the top 5? And how can we then go and work together and capture that market and successfully win you the deal? Yeah. The next topic, sometimes our reseller come to us and say, my leads have got stolen by another FootfallCam reseller, because we do have a different reseller in the region. So the customers are looking for a long-term partnership, and a lot of time under the normal circumstances, customers rarely switch a service provider because they value the time they had spent with the initial provider during the RFI period, because it's the time they have already invested, it's the time and effort they have already invested. So once they have invested in there, they are unlikely to change that unless the price is really, have a big price difference. So of course, as part of the standard bidding procedure, they would get 3 quotes for price comparison. So FootfallCam is always committed to offer the best project price for the partner who conducted the pilot. So we do work closely with you on customization and new features for the pilot, and will ensure all other FootfallCam partners would stick to our MSRP. So therefore, it's very important that you work with us during the pilot, work with us to get into the pilot, and work with us during the pilot to make it a successful one. Then it's unlikely the customer will switch. Of course, then the customer do have the right to choose to switch, but if they have invested so much with you, it's very unlikely they switch. So what your key job is to gather all the issues and requests from the customers and relay them back to us in a timely, so that we can come up with a timely resolution for you. So we work together with you for a very successful pilot. But we remember, so we in a channel conflict management, we do favors the partner with the pilot. But we always have to remember that in this internet age, information is just one click away. So the customer can then go and look at other if they're not happy with you. As we mentioned, if they have invested time and effort with you, they usually will stick with you unless they are really not happy. So we want to, remember all that it is not who they talk to first. It's not who talk to the customer first, but it's who the customer wants to continue to talk to for the next 15 years. And that's what the customer is selecting. They are looking for a dedicated service provider, not a great salesperson or not a technologist. So what we're looking for, or what the customer is looking for, is a good services will equals sale. So, for example, if you're going into black tie? This is just as an example to explain that. So we go into a black tie all. You just need a tuxedo. It's not about how expensive that tuxedo look, how tailor-made that, how best the cut of the tuxedo is. You just need a tuxedo. If you didn't go in whatever, however good looking your t-shirt is, then you just not fit. So it is just about doing the things right, dress for the occasion, for that. So if you're able to sell all those things in your pilot, go with the process on the pilot and get there, then you usually will be able to keep your customer and win the deal. Now, some other issues might be my customer prefers another vendor. So maybe not FootfallCam, but another vendor. So what is important here is the marketing positioning, is we need to know your competitors. So you want to study the value proposition of your competitors, your other competitors, what they are looking. And we want to focus on the values the customer perceive. What they are seeing. And you want to discuss the findings and the challenges with us so that we can help you win the bid. We need to know we won't win all the bids, and some are looking for like a low-cost beam counters. Then of course, then we won't win it. We don't even have the beam counters. And also some other times for some bids you were late to the party. You were not involved in the RFI stage. You were merely invited for the last-minute price comparison. So like I say, the customer will always stick with the one who have done the RFI stage with them. So, but because of a bidding process, they need to get 3 quotes, and you need to get someone else to come in for a quote. So unless we gave them a value proposition that the original person could not match, we could at some point. Sometimes we just crash the party, crash in, and we take over that and win the and won the bid. But sometimes we need to know we're just being invited in just to get a price comparison. And sometimes you will ask to have to satisfy some quirky requirements with a 1-day deadline. So this problem was that you were not an established provider in the market, and no sales efforts can salvage this kind of thing. It's not fair for you anyway. So what is important is to be involved at the early consultation stage of the buying process. And we want to learn the true requirements of the customers. And we want to highlight those value proposition so that they can see in their business values. And this is what FootfallCam is very good at. So come and talk to us on there. And so that, because we have a lot of experience already, it may be your first bidding process for a smart office solution, but it's not the first one for us. We know what the customer wants and what kind of value they need. So work with us. We have a very long template for RFI, RFP. So use us with that. So a key point is don't overwhelm the customers with the latest bells and whistles, because that may be their quirky requirement, but it's not what they are buying. So we want to be confident in the core market. Then in the core market, FootfallCam should not lose any bid. If we do lose in a bid in the core market, then it must be due to the value had not been highlighted to the customer, or that the support contract is not deemed to be sufficient. So your support contract, if it's not deemed to be sufficient, they may not be confident that you can deliver the after-sales support to them. So if we lost a bid, we want to do a post-mortem analysis on all the lost bids. So it's a learning experience, so we can learn from it for both you and us, for FootfallCam. So we want to learn from that. Losing one bid is history already. So once a decision is made, it's history. We can't salvage that. But it's good that if we learn from that, then the future bid we will be winning there. So you might say that your competitor could be have a strong presence in your region already. Yes, for some of it, your competitor may have more experience than you, but as long as you have a professional website and are able to provide a good service, then FootfallCam usually can sell itself. So the next one, we're going to have a next webinar on here, the top 5 3D people counter. We're going to talk about more about the comprehensive buying guide for them. So that will be an interesting one, and we can share with you what people are looking at and what bid they're looking at as well. So the next one, features. They might say, okay, I want a face cam, I want to know my demographic, I want to know the in-store analytic, I want the heat map to impress my prospects. But the proven tools is the proven tools is equal to good sales. Now the feature wall is over. Now what they're looking for is a whole product with AI. So yes, some of them might look at face cam. You might feel that you need to have you need to have this feature, and we do have this feature. We're probably the vendor who has the most features on there. So we do have this feature so that you take the checklist. Yeah. So if they want demographic, we have it. If they want a in-store heat map, we have it. So you have it. So you will take that checklist. And then it is usually only the junior executives who talk about the specs and the features. The directors are looking for proven, practical tools that actually give them business values. That is what the directors are looking. They're not looking for fancy features. The directors are always looking for a simple system that fulfill their core requirement that their staff can work with. There's no point having a very fancy one, then hardly any of the staff is looking for. The directors are looking for a company who can help them to ensure the system and the process would not decay over time. As we mentioned just now, they want to look for a partner that they will continue to talk for the next 15 years. When they invest in a people counting system, they want that system to last for 15 years, not having to change a different partner again in a few years' time. So the latest features are usually rarely the key determinant for winning or losing a deal. Even if you don't have a feature, it's not enough to lose you a deal. But do you have the services and the processes to deliver the key business values to them? That's what the key thing. So what you're wanting to find out as well is the competitor offering something equivalent. Sometimes they will come to you, have some very quirky requirement that nobody can fulfill anyway. So if no one's able to fulfill it, then there's no worries, And so what you want to find out is all this requirement, how important is it to win the deal? Yeah, as we mentioned, feature wall is over, but you still need to find out how important it is. So what you're wanting to make them is to offer great products at a great price with an exceptional service. So you want to make them a deal they cannot refuse. So the unique selling point would be nice, but often it is a fantasy, with all the features and all that. What you're wanting to offer them is the whole complete solution to them. So we are an equipment manufacturer. It is our job to continue innovate, and we will to continue to innovate with all the different features and new features. And we want to deliver the most business values. We want to deliver more and more, of course, as well, to our customers. So come and talk to us so that we can show you what are the business values different customers are looking for. So sometimes you might be talking to a big retail chains. The business values that they're looking for is different from those small independent retail stores. But sometimes you could be talking to them, and we have the specific business values for those as well. And sometimes you're talking to a city council who hasn't got a lot of budget, but they're looking for specific business value. So we have all this. We are very experienced with different type of customers. So come to us, and so that we can show you what are the proven tools for that specific customer, and that will equal good sales for you. Yeah, so these are what we can help. So for example, what we want trying to say is, when you go to a catwalk, a Gucci catwalk, a haute couture, what customers want to see it on the catwalk, like this, with all the bells and whistles, with all the features. But what they're actually buying is the successful boutique, as in our successful reseller. What they're buying and what they are successfully selling is just a logo t-shirt and the logo back. So they're selling in volumes of this. So we want to have all these features. We have all the bells and whistles for you. You have that. But in the end, you are delivering the core product with a core business value. People are seeing the value that they are getting from this at the reasonable price, and all that. So this is what we are trying to deliver to you. So the features is something they put it in their mind, but what you want to tell them is also, because they are now buying this, they always like to know the features, is that should they want to extend in the future, should they want to have demographic in the future, they may not be ready to install another camera or install, but something in the future. They like to have the future roadmap. They want to buy this, but in the mind that they are in the club for this haute couture. Yeah. So, and the next topic sometimes is the customer is unwilling to pay for a support fee, but without a support contract, the system would be dysfunctional within a year. So unlike an off-the-shelf product, people counting systems needs to be maintained, such as the accuracy retuning after the store is being refurbished, such as all those health check alert, such as when they have changed their layout, when they move from one store to the other, and all that, with all those AI recommendation, prediction engine, and all those. So all that will require a properly maintained system. And only a properly maintained system will equal happy customers and will equal a long-term continuing business. So that is why, like Irisys and Brickstream, they were once the largest people counter manufacturers in the world. They're now no longer in business. Why? It is because the resellers are not maintaining the system properly for their clients. The clients want to buy those brands. They're buying the top brands. But then after the buy, they do not actually realize in the long term, they have not been properly maintained. Then their staff is complaining it is not accurate. The management is saying that when some of the stores are not having data, some of the stores is not accurate, then they can't rely on the data anymore, because 20% of the data is not reliable. Then how can they rely on it on the company level? So then they would swap. They will have to swap. So they are swapping to us, and a lot of time they're saying that, oh, the previous system is not accurate. So what we're realizing is not the device itself. A lot of time, Brickstream have got very good device. Irisys have got very good hardware. It is the process. It is the after-sales support process that are not delivering what the customers is needing. So the way, again, the customers don't like to have a login. They don't like a vendor login. They don't want to be compulsory support contract. They don't want to have a subscription model. So what you're wanting to sell is you want to tell them the support contract is optional. You can tell them some customers decide to buy and then use the API to pull the data to the database and maintain it themselves. They can do that. They can treat it like buying a router. And if you insist on a support contract, then they might go away. They might go and buy Hikvision or Service. But if you're giving them an option to tell them you don't have to subscribe to it, but many of our customers subscribe to it because they need a turnkey solution. They need the support. And when you're buying so when they buy the Power BI, they needed the support, right? So they asked you paying for the support on there. And support and maintenance, usually customers will want to buy it, because if they don't do it, the IT team needs to do it anyway. So they might as well outsource it to the specialist rather than buy their generic IT person who only know about their own system, network system. So so make it not mandatory, but encourage them and share the experience of all other customers, why they are purchasing them. And in the next webinar, we will talk about the V9, the enterprise grade system, and how do you keep your data in prime condition? So what you're wanting to do is also educate them. How are you going to keep your data in prime condition? When they then agree that they also need to keep their data in prime condition, then they will see the value in the support contract, because they see that they actually need that amount of work at that level of process and expertise in maintaining the data in the prime condition. So the next one, sometimes you have done your pilot, but you're struggling to turn that pilot into a rollout. So what is important is to have a structured pilot process. Now, when you have a structured process, you're helping the customers to buy. So you want to have define the scope. So the pilot needs to showcase the actual value to the customer's business. So you want to have a pre-agreed objectives for the pilot. You don't want to let the junior executives just to push you into the pilot, because sometimes the junior executives, they're not the decision maker. So they are reporting to their superior, the management. Then the management is not seeing the value yet. They can't see the value yet. So that's why they're not pulling the trigger. They were like, let's see. And then the junior executives, in order to move things forward, they are pushing you. They say, okay, why don't you install one and do a demo for me? So without a pre-agreed objectives, you are likely to just get stuck there. And then if you're not delivering the business value to bypassing the junior executive to his superior, the management team is not making the decision. So what you want, we have a pilot form in here. So what you want is you can agree to a pilot, but you say, okay, let us work on this scope. How can we define? So you want to work closely with us to define the methodology. You want to follow our defined methodology to conduct the pilot. You want to work closely with us to define that objectives. And then throughout the pilot project, we will make sure that we deliver all these points that they are important, that counts. And then we want to review the data and the reports so that you can present that business case to the top management. It's very important on that. So, and throughout this period, you want to provide the feedback to us. So maybe some of that the top management really like, but some of it, they might need a lot more customization to the report, or they are wanting to see a slightly different business value than the current reporting set is not showing that case, showcasing that yet. So you want to come back to us, and then we can probably provide you with a different dashboard, different reports, different AI modeling, and give you AI recommendation to showcase that. We work very closely like this for Walmart, for a lot of all those multinational retail chain, for all those big corporation as well. So we do encourage you to work very closely with us. So the next one, we do have another webinar where we're going to talk about specifically the project, the proof of concept review, which is the pilot review on that. So because what the customer is looking is not just about negotiating, it's not just about the price negotiation. What they're looking for is a management consultant type of a discussion on their business strategy. So if we are aligning with the business strategy or business value of the top management, you usually get the deal. And with the top management, in order to see the value, or in order to execute the business strategy, they will need it a rollout, for that. So that's what you're wanting to do. So the last one, some of our partners have come to us and say, oh, I'm small, I probably cannot win big deals. But you'll be surprised to know many of our successful partners, they have less than 3 people. Yeah. So because what large companies need is support from a dedicated service providers. They probably like to work with small companies whose life depends on them, but you are fully backed up by us. So FootfallCam is big. We can support you on your financial, we can provide financial support to partners where, you know, the kind of like no win, no fee thing, so that because it might be cash flow issue with a very big project, then we can sign a contract with FootfallCam instead of you, so that we are delivering the hardware and you deliver the installation, so you don't have to bear the financial loss, but you still get your margin. So so you don't have to bear that, whether or not the customer in the end decide to pay or not, or the customer's business go bankrupt. So you don't have to worry about that. We can provide this to you as well, should you need it. We also have a project. We can manage the rollout with you, tap into our project management resources, and also tap into our after sales support as well. So we do have a big team there that we can help. So what we're trying to say is that we, the FootfallCam, is the manufacturer. A lot of our partners who are struggling with winning a lot of deals, they may be projecting as seeing being a distributor, because the customer doesn't just want to come and buy the hardware. They don't want to buy from a distributor. What the customer wants is a service provider. Are you the one who can talk to them, gather their requirement, come up with them with a solution that is tailor-made for them? Maybe they're a small bathroom, they're just doing a small bathroom, or to a bigger project where they have to do many of these small bathrooms. So what they're looking for is a service provider to deliver that, to be able to then in the end do the installation for them, do the after sales handover, after sales support to them. So then that is what a customer is looking for. And one other thing we want to show is, for an example, the Tesco loyalty card program. So Tesco is a very big supermarket chain starting from the UK. Now it has a big global reach, so they're huge. Even many years ago, when they first started the loyalty card is also very famous, very innovative, very famous in the industry. They're probably the pioneer in the industry for that. And yet when they started, they worked with this just husband and wife team, very small team, a startup just in West London. Yeah, so they started with this. So even large company, they work with small partners. What they're looking for is someone who is dedicated to service them, who is focused and who is able and willing to deliver this whole solution to them in the end. So what we want to say is, do work with us. We will back you up. So if you don't have enough resources, we back you up for that. So, but you in front of the customer, you are the one who is dedicated to them. So the key takeaways, it has been quite long-winded. Hopefully I have covered most of the concerns that most of our partners are considering or are worrying. Or the key takeaways for this, what we're wanting to say is, there is existing demand. The existing demand is huge. It's a huge market, is there. Customer already want people counting system. Now in the you don't even have to convince them why do you need a people counting system. You don't have to educate them now. Now is they come to you and say, I want a people counting system. So you are doing order fulfillment now. So we make sure you are there, you are present, they can find you to do the order fulfillment. And that means your website. So properly set up the website. We're here to help you. We will provide you with all the information, with all the graphics, with all the videos, with all the dashboards, all the samples on there to properly set up the website for you. And you have a website, you will have more leads. And once you get your leads, we can help you to win the bid. So tap into us to win that bids, and winning the bids or doing the pilots, if you have a structured process, you will have a successful pilot. So tap into us. We have a lot of that available. We can help you together. So we have our project team here to help you with going through all those different steps in the structured process for a pilot to ensure you get a successful one with the customer to get a rollout. So, and your professional service, which you already have and you are providing, will win you the deals. So these are the key features there. So the next upcoming webinars, we're going to show you more in the technical side, how we can do those different steps. Like, for example, the next one, how we're going to help you with building a website using our template, how to conduct a successful pilot. We're going to tell you all different, within the process and the services that we're going to collate all the services that the FootfallCam customers are looking for. So, and a lot of time you're delivering. Maybe you're not telling the customer, but what you are already delivering. So so you're aware, then you are able to spell it out on your website. Now, and the others as well, and the failing market people counting system in the market, like the RSS and Breakstream, and those. So how we can help you look after them, because now you have a lot of customers there who are using those systems. They are now not being supported. They don't have a software that can look into use them. So how can you grab those market as well, and how can we have a legacy care plan, how we can help you to look after those could be your extra business as well, and how you strategically surpassing our competitor in every bid. So this one, we're going to talk about all those strategic value that we want to deliver in a bid. So that's all for today. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions, please write it to us, email us. If you have already written all your question there, hopefully our team, our panelists have already answered some of it. If we didn't get a chance to answer any of that, we will make sure that we come back to you in an email. So do ensure that you have given us all your email address and all that if you want to receive the recorded video or the slides. And also we keep you in mind for the future webinars. Thank you, everyone. Thanks again for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.